Okay, so something happened last night, and at the time I didn't really think that much about it. But this morning I had time to think about it. I was driving to work, and the more I thought about it, the more it started to bother me. And I don't know why it didn't bother me yesterday, but just the more I thought about it, the more it started to really irritate me and piss me off. So yesterday I went to the movies with my kids. I went with my son, my daughter, and my daughter had a friend that ended up going with us. And we went to the movies, had a good time, watched the movie, got snacks, got drinks. It was a fun time. And on the way out, we're walking out, we get in the car, and my son tells me that he really has to go to the bathroom really bad. So I was like, well, why didn't you just go in the bathroom while we were in there? We literally just walked out and walked by the restrooms. And he started laughing, and he was like, because I didn't want anybody to commit a hate crime against me. So I started laughing, and I was like, whatever, man, don't worry about what other people think. But and then I didn't really think much about it after that. So my son, he's very feminine, and he dresses very feminine. That's just who he is. It doesn't bother me. It never has. I accepted it a long time ago. But it's something that, like I said, hasn't bothered me. But just because it doesn't bother me doesn't mean that it doesn't bother other people. Not that, I mean, who cares? That's what I've always said. Like, who cares? I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't care what anybody has to say. Just be yourself. But just because I'm saying be yourself, and just because it's easy for me not to care what other people think, doesn't mean that my son doesn't care and that he's not worried about what other people are going to think. And the fact that he was afraid to use the restroom because he felt that he was going to be hate crimed against, it was something I didn't really think much about yesterday, but it's really opened up my eyes a lot today, the more I think about it. Now, I told my son a long time ago that I didn't care about his sexuality or the way that he dresses. It's never bothered me. But I told him the one thing that I was always worried about was that there was still a lot of hate in this world. And even though I told him there's a lot of hate in this world, I still never actually took the time to think about how it might be affecting him. And the fact that he's even afraid to use a public restroom now because he thinks people are going to harm him. We live in the 21st century, in the United States, and we still have to deal with this much hate. We were at Target last month, and he told me he walked into the restroom, and as soon as he walked into the restroom, a man told him, "What are you doing in here?" And he told him, "I'm going to use the bathroom." He's like, "Yeah, you're in the wrong bathroom." And my son was like, "No, I'm not." And he proceeded to use the restroom. And the guy just stood there and stared at him the whole time. At the time, that really pissed me off, and the guy was already gone. Because my son came out and told me. He waited a little bit to tell me, because he probably knew I'd probably say something. I've been thinking about this all day, but I'm having a hard time getting out the words. It's easier when you're thinking about it in your head. How to explain to my son that no matter what we do, no matter what we say, there are always going to be these hateful people out there. Now, as a Latino, you would think that I would know what it was like to be discriminated against. I always hear stories about people being discriminated against, but I can honestly say I am Latino, but growing up, all my friends were white, every single one of them, and I never felt any different from them. So I guess I can't really say that I know what it was like to be discriminated against, or at least I never paid attention. I remember I was dating somebody a long time ago, and she was white, and I would go out in public with her, and she would get mad because she said that people were discriminated against me, and I wouldn't even pay attention to it. I just didn't even notice because I never felt discriminated against. I really didn't. Everybody was always cool with me. So I remember being at Target and walking by this lady, and when I passed her, she grabbed her purse and hid it. And I just kind of looked at her and I started laughing. It's like, whatever. And I kept walking. And my girlfriend at the time was more pissed off than me. Like, that lady's being racist, that lady's being racist. I was completely clueless because I just didn't pay attention to it. So maybe I have been discriminated against, but I don't really know. Other people notice it more than me. Because my friends, like I said, growing up, my friends were all white. They were always cool. They never treated me differently. They're still my friends to this day. So I've tried to learn about my sons. You know, like, he's taught me a lot about the LGBTQ community. And I've learned a lot. I still have a lot more to learn. But I don't really know what they go through. It wasn't until these last few weeks that I've spoken to my son, and then what happened last night, that I've really taken the time to maybe think about what he's going through. I don't really know what to say. I don't really know what to do. I can only support him and be there for him. But that's the scary thing. There's always going to be hate. It doesn't matter what decade you're in, no matter what century you're in, no matter what religion you are, what race you are, what sexuality you are, there's always going to be hate. And that's the one thing that worries me the most. I can handle myself, but how do I protect my son when he's scared to even use the public restroom?